Greetings, my brothers and sisters. Sending gratitude to all of you who are joining in today to accompany us down the rabbit hole of self-exploration through plant medicines. My name is Ryan Sprague, and I'm here to tell you that your frequency is now set and tuned to explore psychedelic medicines and the impact they've made among the countless psychonauts exploring the last true frontier. Buy a ticket and take the ride with me as we get true first-hand accounts of the experiences, benefits, risks, and transformations taking place within the ever-expanding world of psychedelic medicines on This One Time on Psychedelics. When it comes to the current psychedelic renaissance happening today, I believe the age-old notion applies for all of us who call ourselves psychedelic proponents, that we are standing on the shoulders of the giants that have paved the way for us thus far. These individuals, like today's guest on the show, have not only risked their freedom, but have done so to be able to destigmatize these medicines and allow them to be slowly reimagined by society at large as the potent and powerful medicines and teachers they rightly are. Today's guest on the show is a gentleman who I, as well as countless others in the world of cannabis specifically, have looked up to as an icon, proponent, and comedic relief within the movement to bring cannabis out of the dark ages and into the light of awe that it is currently experiencing in the world today. He is one half of the iconic duo Cheech and Chong, which for over 40 years has been supplying the world with deep belly laughter surrounding the subject of cannabis and the little quirks all of us cannabis lovers know so well with the plant. He also played a star role as Leo in That 70s Show, and along with these incredible accomplishments, he has also gone through his fair share of hardships in being an activist for cannabis, most recently being arrested and put in jail at the age of 65 in 2003 for selling pipes on the internet that could be used for smoking cannabis. In this episode, we will be diving into his epic career that propelled cannabis to a new height in mainstream attention, his journeys with other psychedelics, the hardships he has endured, and much, much more. So please, help me in welcoming the one, the only, Mr. Tommy Chong to the show. Tommy, my man, what is up?
Thank you. Now, did you say I was put in jail at 65 or 55?
65.
65, yeah.
Yep.
I'm a little deaf. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I said, oh, was I 55? No, I was a senior anyway.
Yeah.
When I got there, I didn't have to work if I didn't want to because of my age.
You could get your senior discount at that age, you know? And what did you get? You got put in jail for it. It's like a nice senior discount, you know? It's so funny, man, because, you know, you have such an epic career. I mean, there's so many things we can dive into. But what I'd like to start with first is like, how did Chong get his start, right? Like, how did you first become interested to cannabis and psychedelics? I mean, you were part of the 60s and 70s. There was so much stuff going on, but I'd like to hear it right from your mouth. How did you get into this world?
And it was music. It was a type of music. You know, I was pretty well straight, you know, playing around with alcohol just a little bit, nothing serious at all. You know, but I've been playing backup guitar for country music since I was 8 years old. And I got good enough that a fiddle player neighbor, you know, would use me and say, come on, we got a party. And we would play for parties. And that's when I never developed a taste for alcohol because, you know, being a kid, you know, and around drunks, hey, give the kid a beer, you know. And I always had a beer under my chair because I hated the taste. And I never did reconcile that, you know. I learned how to drink when I was a teenager, but it was never my thing. So, but music was always my thing. And not because I was that good. It was that I was good enough to play for other people. See, that's the difference.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not a guitar player, but I know how to play the guitar.
Yes.
You know, especially rhythm. And so when I got into guitar, then I started getting into the music world. I was in the music world, I was more of an entertainer in the beginning, you know, other than playing for the fiddle player, you know, we just play dances. But all of a sudden I started backing up an Elvis impersonator. You know, he was a good friend of mine. We were both in Army cadets together. And so I got a taste of entertaining and was all about making the girls scream, you know. making the audience go, whoa,
Yeah.
And so at an early age, I learned that the art of entertaining an audience. And so then I got turned on to dancing, the jive and the Lindy Hop. And the best dancers were the Black folks in where I grew up, Calgary. There was a handful, but they were the dancers. And so then I got into in dancing, which turned me on to the rhythm and blues, the rock and roll. And so now I can play. And then a football player, a friend of mine, of my brother's actually, heard that I could play guitar. And so he wanted me to back him up as an R&B singer. And so I got turned on to rhythm and blues, which turned me on to jazz, which got me turned on to pot. Because it was the reefer, if you're into jazz, next thing you know, I'm being handed a joint and a Lenny Bruce record, a comedy record by a jazz aficionado, and that changed my life. As soon as I started smoking weed, it just clarified everything in my mind. My mind just got very clear as to what I wanted to do with my life. And school, I never really enjoyed school other than literature. I really enjoyed literature. All the rest was a struggle, mainly because I had bad eyesight too. I never knew that because I used to sit in the middle of the class, and then when the teacher read on the board, I would get up out of my seat, walk up close to read what she wrote. And then somewhere along the line, someone said, "Oh, this guy needs glasses." And so, because we're very poor, we grew up very, very poor. And by the way, you don't know it when you're poor, because you don't know what you never had. All you know, your happiness never depends on having money. Your happiness depends on really having time to explore, or turning work into fun, because that's the only way. Back in the day, you never had a choice about labor. No one ever said, "Oh, Tommy, you don't have to carry that water into the house or carry the wood. It's okay. You go play or you go do something." No, it was never that. It was like, "Hey, we need this, we need that. Come on, what are you doing? What are you standing there for?" And so, from an early age, that's why farm kids make really good athletes. Because they're not staying home because they got a cold. They're staying home because they got to harvest the field. Yeah. They got to shovel the manure. They got to work.
Yeah.
And that's why farm kids are always built. And in order to get work, you got to feed them. Yes. And you're on the farm, so you got the milk, you got the meat, you got everything. So, and I grew up right on the edge of the thing. We had our own garden, and it wasn't, again, it wasn't because it was a hobby. It was food for the winter. You had to grow those potatoes. You had to grow those carrots, and that's what we grew: carrots and potatoes, and every once in a while peas, but nothing exotic, nothing fun, nothing. Oh boy, And we couldn't grow fruit back there. So, and growing up like that, it gave me muscles, strength, and even though I'd been in the hospital earlier, I spent a year in the hospital, and so my legs never developed. Thank God, because had I had legs, I would have been limping around now, because my brother had legs and he was an athlete, a farm boy, a country boy with strong legs. Give him a ball, give him a puck, give him something, and that was my brother. And we're both, I was taller than him. He was shorter, but strong as an ox and tough as nails. He was He was my guy. And that's what got me through school. Because because back in the day, you talk about danger. School was dangerous. You got bullied. And there was the teachers were afraid of the bullies. You never had. We had old lady teachers, old men teachers. Because I grew up during the war, and anybody young was fighting the war, and so it was like a retirement job, as opposed to a real job. And then when I got older, I got around 16, I discovered a weight room at the YMCA, and it was empty. In fact, the YMCA wasn't that crowded. It was a gay hangout, really. And I found out, how gay it was because they gave free swimming lessons. And so right away, my mom, okay, free, go learn how to swim. But what they would do, they would line us guys up, and then they would make us take off our bathing suits, And so you guys don't need your bathing suits. And we thought it was normal. And we're out there with our little dinglings hanging out and having cool. I never, it just seemed normal, And then as I got older, not too long ago, then I realized, holy shit.
Like that wouldn't be allowed today.
Oh my God, that'd be jail time.
Yeah.
Well, look at the Boy Scouts. Look at the boy. Oh, that's amazed me. Because that was I never had any money. You needed money to join Boy Scouts. And I went to a meeting one time, but I had no money. I couldn't pay anything. I couldn't buy the uniform. But you know what the guy, the scout leader did? He gave me the book. And so it didn't, I read all the books, how to run, walk. Have you ever heard of that one?
No, I haven't.
You run a few steps, 25. Anyway, you run a bit, and then you walk a bit. You run a bit, you walk a bit. That way you cover a lot of ground. I used to do that because cool. Again, we grew up in the country, and there was no school bus. You drag your little young ass across that field. And you go to school, and it was such a country school that the kids, there were some of the kids rode horses to school, but it wasn't romantic, oh, that's so a horse. No, it was a curse. And the kids that rode it to school, oh my God, they weren't that happy because when you got there, you had to take out, scrub them down and brush them down, all that. You had to work.
Yeah.
Shovels and everything. And then I got a bike. And I never owned a bike that fit. When you're a poor kid. My first bicycle, I rode underneath the bar. Yeah, I rode it like that.
You made it work.
And then when my legs got long enough, then I got saddled and rode to school. Yeah, I had thinking back now at my age, I had the most idyllic early life any kid could have. And to top it off, there was no summer camp for any, there's no holiday for anybody. We went on one holiday. I remember my dad, it was kind of straight. He got a job driving truck, and he decided, he wanted to go on a vacation, and so we bought a tent, and we went camping. And we went camping up the Bow River, and you had to watch out because it was blueberry season. And I think that was one of the reasons we went camping. Because my dad, when you grow up in the country, blueberries are okay. Everybody goes there with the buckets and everything else, get the free blueberries. Only problem is that you're sharing the blueberries with the bears.
Yeah, that can be a slippery slope.
Yeah, so I'm out there, and because I was young, I had an older brother, 4 years older than me. And thank God for that, because he had to do all the grunt
heavy
work.
lifting.
He was the guy. And I was the one in the middle. I had a younger sister, but I was the guy in the middle, too young to do it. And so I had a idyllic life, man. It was so great. And then it was really country, Tom Sawyer kind of town, because we never wore shoes, mainly because we were growing so fast that we couldn't afford. And if you don't need shoes, why wear them?
Yeah. Feet work good without them.
Yeah. And then we did and same as pants, same pants every day, no shirt. And the reason is that laundry was done by hand. You see, it was a wash tub, and everything was done by hand. And because we never had running water, we had to haul the water in, put it on the stove, heat it up, and do it that way, wash clothes that way. So my mother, if the kids don't need clothes, why put them on? so I went through a few summers, bare chest and no shoes, and just pants, and we had the best time, because there was no organized games, or parks, or no such thing. In fact, when we moved into the city, the first thing I did, I had to go to the park, because you had swings and everything else. And of course, the first thing that happened to me, I ran into a gang, the local gang. And what they did, because I was small, young, they pitted this youngest, smallest guy for me to fight to see how tough I was, because that's what it was. Parks were run by little hoodlums. And so I had to fight the guy, but no one knew that I had an older brother. And so I was taught, I was like a punching bag. And so I learned a lot of moves from him. And the one move I learned was a good shot in the stomach, in the solar plexus.
Yeah.
So that was the shortest fight ever. The guy come at me, I give him a shot in the gut, laid him out. and then the bigger kids pushed me around, threw me around, They didn't hurt me. But I went home, and we had my Chinese uncle living with us at the time. And he couldn't speak that good of English, but I went home crying, I got beat up. I think I started crying about as soon as I got into the house. I wasn't crying until I got there. And these kids in the park, I got pushed around, I got beat up. And so my uncle takes me in the backyard, and he taught me 3 ways to kill somebody.
Oh my God.
First, you hit him in the nose with your hand. You heal, boom, in the nose, boom, in the nose. And you send a nose fragment into the brain, you kill him. And the other one was hit him in the neck, here, right in the Adam's apple, And the last one, the knuckles here, right behind the ear, here, boom. and I used that one when I was fighting I had a neighbor, little white, little. It was a wartime house, so all the white guys got the houses first, and then my dad. That's why it took a while to get around to my dad. And next thing you know, we got a wartime house with plumbing and everything. But before we moved in, everybody shared the communal lawn, no fences. They had this beautiful green lawn that everybody shared, and in the backyards was the same. It was like a park. As soon as we moved in, man, fences strung on. All the fences. And so my brother and I, because we grew up in the country, one of the fun things we used to do was throw knives at the barn door or the shed. And so first thing we did was take out a few of those fences with our knives.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When I think about it, our that neighborhood, we lived up to the reputation. These savages were coming in the neighborhood. They were right.
Yes. You had to live up to the expectation, you couldn't let them down.
Racism, and that's when I really did. Well, we had it when I was in the country. when we moved, because I was in the hospital and then in a Salvation Army home earlier, because my mom had TB and my dad, had some war injuries, and my brother, he was the one that had to go to school while he was in the home, and so he grew up very tough, fight his way there and fight his way back, and he was just tough. He was just mean and tough, and it saved me because I'd go to school. And everybody just, no, don't mess. Well, the first day I went to the school, when we had indoor plumbing and the thing, first day, I'm sitting in class, and all of a sudden this bully comes in and just smacks me around in the head, just attack me. And the teacher was sitting there drinking her tea. I remember she had a tea and she's drinking her tea. She never even told the guy to stop. It was just like a normal thing this guy would do, come in there. But the guy failed to do his research. And so when he got out to the playground, and the word got out right away, hey, your brother got beat up by Bannerman was his name. I remember that. It just came to me. Next thing I know, that guy is being very nice to me.
He's like, hey, sorry about before. I didn't know.
Oh, he was so apologetic.
What is up, everybody? I hope you were all enjoying the show, and I wanted to stop by real quick and share a little bit about our latest podcast sponsor, Freedom Builders. Now, Freedom Builders are a team of graphic designers, website creators, videographers, social media marketing experts, and coaches that build out your custom online business from A to Z. This is a done-for-you service, which means they do the work for you while you get to put your focus back on what you love most, which is coaching your clients and bringing in sales. Now, as a former online fitness coach, Mike knows where your struggle points are and exactly how to help you overcome them. This is why he created Freedom Builders, so that you can scale your business while protecting your time and your energy. Now, you guys know that delegation is a business superpower, and you can activate this superpower today by scheduling a complimentary call with Mike at freedombuilders.com, so you can start building the freedom that allows you to take your business to the next level. Alex and I recently connected with Freedom Builders for our Connect with Cannabis build-out, and we could not have been happier with the results. With Mike and his team, they were able to go through an outline and create a personalized program for our experience, develop our brand identity, build and design a custom branded webpage, professionally edit our program video content, custom design all of our slide presentations, automate our email marketing sequences, create a seamless payment system for our offer, design unique infographics for our social media content, and guide us through our proven launch blueprint to generate organic leads through our social media. So if you're a coach, facilitator, or healer listening to this ad right now, and you are looking to put freedom back into your life, once again, go to freedombuilders.com and book your complimentary call today. I hope you all enjoy the rest of the show, and I'm wishing you the best day ever.
My brother was so tough. Years later, he got married, kids, everything. Then I started with the band. I had a nightclub in Vancouver, and my brother ended up. First of all, I started out as a doorman, a bouncer, and then he ended up being the manager, and then he was in charge of everything. But he was so tough because every night at closing, they would all the thugs that were kicked out of all the other clubs, because we were late, they would come down to our club. And that's in Canada, that was like the thing to do in the 50s, 60s, 50s, 60s, early 60s, was to come down, get drunk, get kicked out of the bars, go to the after hours clubs and fight with the bouncers, because they're not letting you in. And so my brother was part of the bouncers. And so one time I was in the south of France, and we were at a nice resort, and then the word got out that I was there. And so this doctor wanted to talk to me, wanted to meet me. And I thought it was because of Cheech Chong, but he said, no, he says, I was a doctor at Deep Cove when your brother lived out there.
Oh,
And I said,
wow.
yeah. He said, well, your brother came to me one time. He said he was having pain in his fist, his hand. He couldn't figure out what it was. So they did an x-ray and they found teeth fragments in his knuckles.
Oh my God.
So they had to remove all these teeth fragments.
Just goes to show how tough he was. He didn't even notice.
Oh, he was tough. He was tough. There's one story. My oldest son, I made the mistake of telling my ex-thug son, all the stories of my brother. And then my son, he related right away to my brother, right away, because he's oldest. And he was a surfer, and he got into skirmishes and that. And I told my son, and it's a true story. One time this guy came to the club with a pistol, and he threatened my brother with the pistol. And my brother went and grabbed it out of his hand. And just as he grabbed it, the hammer came down and hit him in the thumb. Oh. And my brother and my brother he didn't pistol whip the guy. He should have, but I know he took it out. But he never told me that. I heard from the grapevine, what went down. But he was God. He was a tiger. Then years later, he moved to Vancouver Island, and then he got a job as a mall cop.
Yeah. You don't want to mess with that mall cop.
Yeah, no, he was a mall cop, but he was older, up there. And the last guy he had a hold, he got a shoplifter. And the guy was big native guy and drunk. And so my brother could only lay on him. He held him down and just laid on until the real cops came. And I think they retired him soon after that. Where he's okay, Stan.
Yeah, you've done your part.
Oh, he's a tough guy. Had a heart attack, but wow. The good thing was 2 heart attacks. Both times he's playing baseball with the first responders.
Wow. That's
the fireman, the ambulance. He's the umpire. And he had a heart attack. Boom, they got him right away at the hospital. Put in a pacemaker, put in some other shit. He's out for a while. He's cool. And then next thing you know, has another heart attack. Same thing. Oh. He was so tough. Even when he was dying, he was in the hospital dying. And what they were going to do, they're going to let him out because there's nothing they could do, so he could die at home. And so, but he's getting ready to go out, and he fell over and smacked his head bad. And so they had to operate on his brain, But they did, and they saved him. But it was but he lost his ability to speak. But I would phone the hospital. How's he doing? He's kind of frustrated, And so one time he heard that I was on the phone, so he wanted to talk to me. And he got on the phone. He goes, Lenny. What? Stan, what's up, man? Lenny. What? Money. I said, oh.
Hey, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the show. I wanted to take a quick moment to let you all know that the doors are officially open for the Conscious Cannabis Collective. And as such, this is the last week you can sign up and receive all of the bonuses we're currently including. This is the last time I will be personally onboarding those of you who sign up with a complimentary one-on-one session, and you'll have the ability to get the Grow with Cannabis course for free during this limited time. For more info on how you can take advantage of this offer, head down to the show notes for this episode and secure your spot today, as we only have so many spots left and they are filling up quickly. Now back to the show.
You want me to send you some money? because I would send him, that was it, because I'm fine, I'm pretty good. So I would send him a couple of grand every once in a while, and that's what he wanted.
That is so funny, man. It's so funny hearing these stories too. And, of course, I've heard a little bit about your brother and, doing research and, of course, following you for so long. But hearing these stories is so powerful. Did you guys ever interact with cannabis or any psychedelics together? You and your brother? Was he a psychedelic, user?
He grew a plant. He was never, never did anything for him.
Yeah.
And acid, he wouldn't do anything that would interfere with his ability to kick the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, that was his main priority.
Alcohol, no problem. Because he'd be a quiet drunk. Yeah. He'd just sit there and be real quiet. He attacked me one time. We had another partner, a gangster, and really what it was, the gangster would. They like hanging out, and so they want to invest. What they would do, they give us, I think Georgia gave us $5,000 or something, and really what it was, but just here, it's my membership to come and go as I please,
Yeah.
And so Georgie was in there one time. My brother, he was drinking quite a bit. Oh, he had a bad back. That was it. His back was bothering him, so he was trying to drink the pain away. And so Georgie came and got me. He says, Stan's getting a little bit out of whack here, So I brought my brother back to the dressing room, and I'm trying to call not. It was just we never had a problem, ever. So he just mistook me for something. He just went nuts.
Yeah.
And he picked me up and he slammed me we had a piano stored in the back. He slammed me face first into the piano. It broke my nose. But I was sober and in pretty good shape, because Georgie was, he said that I turned around and really literally picked my brother up, and when it picked him up, and once you get off the ground, you got no leverage, and so he was up helpless kind of thing. And then I didn't hurt him, but I put him down and calmed him down. And Georgie was really impressed, because everybody was scared the shit out of my brother. And then Georgie saw what I could do, because I've been pushing weights pretty heavy at that time, and I was at the age, I was a perfect age, and and so I had the strength, but that was the only time my brother, all the scars I got on me when he was, I was 2 or 3, I think about 3 years old, and we were living in the Ukrainian. We got a big Ukrainian side of our family. My mom's sisters married Ukrainians. And so we were at the farm while my dad was overseas in the war. And my brother was chopping wood, and I wanted to chop wood. And so I kept putting my finger out, he said, you put your finger there, I'll chop it off. And I put my finger there, and he tried his best to chop it off, but he missed. He didn't go this way, he got lengthways. And so I got a scar on my finger from here from the bottom knuckle to the tip.
That's a good memory,
Missed the bone. And we're in a farm in Saskatchewan. And the Ukrainian lady took it, did an Indian thing, wrapped it up, put a splint on it, put some salve on it, things there, wrapped it up. You're okay. Go play.
That's so funny, man. It's so crazy. I mean, I've been watching the show 1883 recently, which it's got a lot of cool people and a lot of good cameos, but it's wild to think that was only 150 years ago, and what you're talking about was only 50, 60 years ago, right around there. I mean, even a little bit more than that. Right. And so it's wild to see how the world has.
No, actually what I'm talking about was 80 years ago.
Wow. So that's
I'm 84.
Yeah. So it's like a blink of an eye, really, when we think about it, right? It's a long time in human time, but it's really the blink of an eye. And to think of what we have now, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. And before you and I hit record, we were talking a little bit about LSD. And of course, you're known for Cheech and Chong and Cannabis, but, you know, like you were saying, you enjoyed acid for a little while. And I'd love to hear the first time you experienced LSD, because I'm curious, right? Because I have my own story with LSD, but I'd like to hear yours, man, because I really think it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Well, it was called Try This. There was no name for it.
Yeah.
What is it? Just try it. Try this. What do you do? Well, you'll find out. You just take it. Put it. My first dose was on a sugar cube, and I split it with my organ player, Bernie. Bernie sat the whole night in front of a mirror, looking at it the whole night, and I started off. I didn't know what was going on. Then it hit me, and I went out into my backyard, and there's a cherry tree there. And I just sat and I became part of the cherry tree.
I know exactly what you mean.
And then I went shopping with my first wife, Maxine, and we went Christmas shopping for the kids. And it was, I couldn't really explain it to anybody. There was nothing to explain. It was just, you just do things. But I couldn't wait to try it again.
Yeah.
You know, that was a good 15-hour, whatever, 12-hour trip. And then the second time I took it with my girlfriend. Just a friend. We were just friends. She was a neighbor. But she was my, you know, she was gorgeous. And so she was kind of my guide. You know, I took it. And she tried a tiny, tiny little bit. And then her and her sister used to do tiny little bits of acid. And then they would go shoplifting.
She was microdosing before microdosing was cool, you know?
Yeah, it was a microdose. Yeah. And she microdoses everything to this day, everything. And then the last time, and by the way, that was, I'm with the same lady. Had I done acid with my first wife, I would have still been with her.
Yeah.
But it was a Christian lady, and she didn't want anything to do with any drugs, pot, anything. And until later, you know, I guess she got, but she never did like alcohol or anything. She was, you know, pure Christian lady. But my wife and I, we started, last time we did it together in Boulder, in Aspen, Colorado. And we took our little, then 3-year-old daughter then, she was 3 years old. We wanted to go see a Disney movie. and so we saw Thumbelina's playing. I had no clue what the fuck Thumbelina was. And so we found the theaters in the ghetto in Denver. This was in Aspen. Yeah, it was in downtown. I don't know, theater or somewhere. Anyway, we get to the theater with our little 3-year-old, and we're sitting there, and the theater's full of little black kids. And Thumbelina comes on the screen, and she's going to marry a rat. And these little kids were running up and down the aisles. They were watching the movie. They're just running up and down the aisles. And they look like rats to me. And so I told my wife, Shelby, I said, I gotta get out of here. She said, me too. She was freaking out too. So our daughter, she was all into the movie. Said, come on, dear, we gotta go. She go, you know, I want to watch the movie. So we went out. We had to get out of the theater right away. So we went out the back door. And now we're in the middle of a field or something. The door closed, and we're stuck out in the middle of nowhere. And with our little 3-year-old, what's the matter? You know, I want to see the movie.
Why did we have to leave?
Well, me and Daddy got to go home. And so we walked around and we saw a service station, walked over to the service station and asked the guy, can you phone a cab for us? And the guy puts the phone down. And I don't know how to work the phone. So we managed to get the guy to phone us a cab, And we took a cab home, and then that was the last. It was window pane.
Oh, wow.
It was window pane, and
Yeah.
And that was, you only need to have one of those bad trips. And I hadn't touched it since. But what happened to me, the residual effect of the acid stayed. It's still with me. And what it was, it really brought out the spiritual side. And I've been living there ever. Well, I always did. I always did. And acid really just more confirmed beliefs, not only confirmed them, but allowed me to realize how special my life was. Not only to me, but to what I was doing, because I've always had a connection with the Great Spirit from my earliest memories.
Same.
Earliest memories. And I've always had that, and with nature. Because growing up in the country, you spend a lot of time just sitting and enjoying, or walking and enjoying, or just being. Just being. And seeing, Just like when I went to prison, I was so just blown away by the desert, being in the desert and looking down and seeing all little meteorites, rocks, and just this everything, the creatures and everything was like, whoa. Yeah, that's why my time in prison it wasn't a prison. It was a spiritual retreat.
Yeah.
Like Jesus used to go into the desert all the time. You go in there for months at a time, and just to be with God. And that's really what happened with me, because I ended up in the garden. And the first time I went to the garden, I stayed there too long and I missed a count. And so the CEO come out and got me out of the garden. Hey, what are you doing out here? You're supposed to be in. And so they had me kicked out of it. You're not allowed out here anymore. But the forces to be said, yeah, he is allowed out here. So I spent most of my, it was a spiritual retreat, because I was spending in the desert. I literally, the guy that ran the garden, Mr. Ono, very Japanese. And he just respected my whole thing. And I got a little area with the guy that created the garden. And it was a little, almost like a shack almost. And I was there all day, and that's what I'd do. And they'd bring me a load of clay that they found, this natural clay. And I would make bongs. I would sit there and make bongs and make little Japanese gardens, little things. It was just so special. And then at dinner time, Eric, the guy that ran the garden, he said, I gotta go start dinner. And he would go and whip up these vegetables into this gourmet meal, which we ate in the TV room, because everybody was at the mess hall, the dining room, eating, and we had the whole TV room to ourselves. And there's 4 of us, and we just sit around. And the first time I sat down, he handed me a burrito, like this inside. So I thought I would just take my portion and pass it to the next, And that's when they told me, oh, no, that's yours.
You're like, this is amazing.
I can't eat all this. And Eric says, you will. Sure enough, by the end of the time there, I would, it was, that my time in prison, it didn't piss off my wife, but she would have to drive 2 hours and put
to
it with
see
the
you.
traffic
Yeah.
and everything else. And then I'd say, well, listen, I got to go. I got to work on the sweat lodge. You know, I got to go get ready for the sweat lodge. I had shit to do.
Yeah.
But it was so special. See, I learned, you know, so early in my life, you know, I got connected, and I know how special my life is. Always, and it wasn't for any other reason but being divinely inspired. You know, people just get the wrong impression of organized religion or anything, and because what it really is just humans just making it through, and the ones that are given the answers, because what we're all humans. We're here to learn.
We're in school.
We're all here to learn.
Yeah.
And it's all written down. And if you realize that the Bible and all the holy books were written by man, you know, inspired by God, but written by man. So man has to put his own little twist in there, you know, and especially if they're writers, because one thing we're gifted with is an imagination.
Yes.
Because that's what you need in this universe to understand the universe. You know, because the universe, like our mind, is endless. There's no bounds. You see, there's no what you can imagine. There's no say, okay, that's enough. You know, there's not that anywhere. And the thing is, when we learn the answers, and all the mystics on earth, their job, or they've been gifted with the ability to know some of the answers, not all, but some of the answers. Because a lot of the answers, it's like watching TV these days. Now, I'll see a show, but I got to shut up, because my son will tell me, "Don't tell me no more. Don't, you know." It teaches another one. Teaches, no, shut up. That's it. That's all I want to know. You know, what's the name of it? Okay, and that's it. Don't tell me anymore. Because I have a big mouth, man. I'll tell them everything. Because I've been gifted with this sort of talent. Like I play, like I said, I play guitar for a fiddle player. I could do, you know, I've been, you know, with Motown, for instance, you know, I was, you know, and I've hobnobbed with the best in the world, you know, had, you know, moments, serious moments with some of the most gifted people on the planet. And I found out we're all the same. We don't have any clue of what we mean to anybody, because we know ourselves, you know, that, you know, you're not a prophet in your own country, you know.
Yes.
So it's, but if you learn basics, see, that's what when I was playing guitar, I just learned basics. And my fiddle player would tell me, just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. And just give the people what they want. And that was all I needed to be told.
Yeah.
And then I was taught, see, I was telling you about my country experience, barefoot and everything. And that way, everything that happens to you is so divinely inspired, you know, things that appear. That's what the natives used to say, you know, a bird or a hawk, or somebody appears at a moment, you know, they know what that means. It means something big, you know, because we are eternal beings.
Yes.
And we're only in this form for this particular stretch of our learning. you know. We could go through another life as a bird, as a ant, as a blade of grass, as a, we're just of this incredible consciousness that we all share. See, we're all sharing the same consciousness because we're all here together.
Yeah.
And the only really law that you should abide by is one. Now, if you want to be mellow and loved, and if you want all the goodnesses, is you got to be quiet, be still, and know that I am God.
Yes.
Yeah, but you got to remember what I am means. I am means a lot more than. That's why the Christians, they misunderstand when Jesus said, I am the resurrection, I am the life. The Christians want to believe that it's Jesus saying that he is, and it's not. It's not. What Jesus is saying is that the I am, the
universal truth,
the eternal being, because we all, everything is, we just change forms. That's what the I Ching says, is that we, the only constant in the universe is change. That's the only constant in the universe. And the universe is boundless. I love they spent all this money, put a new telescope, and you know what? They can see more nothing.
Yeah.
They can see more heavens. There's more galaxies. And there's more. Of course, there's. We can, with the naked eye, you look up, you see.
Yeah. You're probably going to find more of the same thing if you build a better telescope, you know.
And guess what? The ones that know say that this is only one universe. There's countless universes.
It's infinite.
Infinite. But what we have is the sliver of time. See, the time, and we're parentheses. We're in the middle of this time thing, and we don't have to worry about anything because we only have not worry about anything. Period. Because once you realize you're an eternal being, here to learn. That's why most gurus, they got one thing in common. They got a giggle. They got this cosmic giggle. And when people get all upset over anything, this too shall pass. Yes. Be it good, bad, or otherwise, this too shall pass.
Hello, everybody. I hope you are all enjoying the show. I wanted to stop by and fill you in on our brand new, completely free to join Facebook community called the Highly Optimized Ceremony Circle. I imagine many of you are aware of the newest creation within Highly Optimized, which is the Connect with Cannabis program. Alex and I are having so much fun empowering health and wellness professionals with the skill set of facilitating conscious cannabis and helping them up-level their facilitation practice that we wanted to create a space where anyone could join to ask questions, receive free information on how to work with cannabis in the way we teach in the program, and be able to gain clarity around how to get the best results with their clients in order to become financially independent in their health and wellness practice. To join, hop over to the link in our Instagram bio and send us a request. It is our intention to assist as many health and wellness professionals as possible in the important work they are doing in the world. And if you are looking to join a community of like-minded individuals just like you, who are passionate about helping their clients achieve the highest quality of life possible, the Highly Optimized Ceremony Circle is for you. I am looking forward to speaking with all of you in the group, and as always, enjoy the show.
And now I'm watching, like the Trumpies on the Trump follies,
Yeah.
And I'm really watching the Democrats. The Democrats are cold-blooded, man, because they got Trump hanging, and they're not going to let him off that. they're going to hang him out and drive it. It's almost like the Chinese water torture.
Yes.
Trump. I predict Trump is going to probably end up in Guantanamo.
Mm-hmm.
as the only prisoner there. That's my thing, because he's such a cult figure that he couldn't be put in any institution. He would corrupt wherever he was. It would be corrupted, because there would be someone there and say, hey, Trump, you know, hey, I get anything for you. What do you need?
Yeah. What do you think about this?
Yeah. That's what when I was in prison, I met everybody like, hey, what do you need?
I'm sure everyone wanted to get Chong some cannabis in jail, you know?
Oh, but you know who wanted to do it more than anybody was the feds.
Oh, I bet they were planting people to do it.
They did right from the beginning, from the very first day. They wanted nothing more to have me test dirty and then be told, oh yeah, he's tested dirty, he's in the hole, he's blah blah blah, he's being punished. But I turned down and boy, I was offered every day. I was offered, because what they would do is that if they could bust me, they could knock time off their sentence.
Yes.
And that's how they control the whole prison.
Yeah.
We had more snitches in that prison than we had prisoners.
Everyone was trying to get their time, reduced for you.
Even the guards, everybody. If you could bring them something. In fact, one time I was on the phone. First of all, you can't make a phone call for 2 weeks. They torture you. Oh. And so then 2 weeks is up. I'm finally phoning home. My wife, how's it going? I said, good. I said, they're treating me really nice. I said, in fact, one of the guards came in my cubicle and he just wanted to sit and visit, you know. Next thing you know, after the phone call, next thing you know, boom, Chong, report to the control. They listened to everything.
Wow.
And they wanted to know, this guard that visited you, who was it? I said, what guard? They said, the guard that said that came to visit you. Who was it? I don't know. What did he look like? A guard? He looked like a guard. And then they realized I wasn't going to give him up. So they said, okay, you can go. But they found out the guy. And believe it or not, we're doing a concert. He came by the concert and he had just gotten out of jail himself. He got found doing something, went to jail, did his time, and now he was out. But he's no longer a guard.
Yeah. Did you guys get to smoke a joint together or something after that? I imagine you probably have some funny stories to share with each other.
No. As a matter of fact, see, guards are guards.
Yeah.
And, it's just, you're as nice as you need to be.
Yes.
But you don't get close with anybody.
Yeah.
Especially guys that end up, because you never know with these guys. Never know. But I had a guy, the first day I was in prison, Howard was his name. Howard and Dave, I think, was the other guy. They kind of captured me, like, I'm walking the track, next thing you know, I got company. And next thing you know, they were trying to hustle me, They knew this Chinese guy, because I was my Chinese name, they thought I was in with the Chinese mafia, And they know, hey, so-and-so Wong or something. I said, no, anyway, he's everybody knows him. He's blah, blah, blah. He's the kingpin. He's this, that. He's a good friend of mine. He says, I can get you anything. And how would you like your own recording studio? That was their first thing. They said, first day in jail, how would you like your own recording studio? And so I really entertained. One thing about con men, they're entertaining.
Oh, 100%.
They know what to tell you, how to say, and they do research. They find out, everything. But anyway, he told me, he's in on a bogus charge. I said, what happened to you? And he said, well, they got me on making, what do you call it, amphetamine?
Amphetamines or methamphetamine?
Yeah, the speed.
Yeah.
And he said, but it was bogus. He says, it wasn't me. I was doing this. He had a whole story, and it sounded plausible, And the thing is with me, you want to get along, and the way the con people do it, they do it in such a way. Well, you'd never question them because you'd never question their ability. They would never lie to you. Maybe everybody else, but not you. Because what do you got that I need? Nothing. Well, except maybe you could,
Of course, being well known.
But at the end of the sentence, I got kind of cool. I'm a good learner, I study people. And then I realized, oh, okay. So I got him off guard. I said to him, do you know how to make methamphetamines? He said to me, I got the best recipe.
You're like, gotcha. Oh my God. That is too
funny. And then I walked away because he was working on the, when they give out tools and stuff like that. And I got my stuff. It was really cool because I could check on any kind of tool. I had knives, hammers, whatever I needed, And that's what I would check out. I get a wheelbarrow because by then I was making a kiln to fire my bombs. I was going to make a clay kiln because there's nothing but clay out there. And so he was the tool, and I said, "Do you know how to make that?" He's like, "I got the best recipe." And as soon as he said that, he kind of knew that I got him. And then he tried to, by the way, about that recipe. And I can't talk right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get him off the hook.
Oh man.
And he kind of respected me for that, after that. But
you spoke his language,
I caught him.
Yeah.
And then there's the other guy, this Big John, used to tell everybody, "Oh, you're in here bogus. I can get you out. I'm a lawyer." And he had all these guys, giving them false hope, especially, the ones that, the medical device prisoners. That was the saddest ones, because they weren't supposed to be selling medical devices without being through the FCC or whatever it is. And they were the saddest group because they're little scientists, doctors almost, and they should not have been in prison, especially for that, But that's what they do. Prisons are really a way to steal people's money.
100%. Yeah, and have legal slavery.
Once you get and then you get slavery, and then once they get a felon, then you take all their money, take everything they got. What the lawyers aren't going to steal. In fact, I had a lawyer myself, that as soon as he heard that I was in trouble, "Whoa, yeah, you could do this." He wanted $100,000 from me right away, and I gave it to him right away. And then at the end of the thing, I wrote a book, and then he came up to me after, and he thanked me a lot for not telling his story, how they built me, because he knew I could have blew the.
Yeah, you could have ruined his whole career.
Yeah,
and rightfully so.
No, not really. Yeah. I got caught. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
Part of the game, and I've never worried about any money because I know the law is that what's ever yours you'll always get it. And if it's not yours, you'll never keep it.
Yeah.
You'll always, it'll go back. It's like a homing pigeon.
Yeah. That's so funny, man. Tommy, this has been absolutely incredible getting to dive in. Of course, I want to be respectful of your time. And, man, I mean, there's so much I could say in terms of how much I want to get into with you. We'll have to do a round 2 on here for sure, because we have so many more questions I want to ask you. But, I want to make sure I give you a chance to tell the people listening where they can find you, where they can find anything that you're doing right now in terms of projects. Of course, people know where to find Cheech Chong, but what are you working on right now? And where can people contact either you or someone on your team to be able to stay up to date on what you're doing in the world right now?
the go-to thing is Hey Tommy Chong.
Yeah.
Got Hey Tommy Chong, and that'll get my CBD. Well, I've really enjoyed this.
Oh, this has been amazing, Tommy, and, if someone listened to this conversation and they walked away being really interested to dive into the world of psychedelics, what is the one piece of advice you would give them to be able to allow them to use discernment in discovering whether or not these medicines are right for them? Because they're not for everyone, right? And so I'm curious to hear your advice on how someone that might be interested in this realm would be able to figure out if they're right for them in their life.
Intuition. It's called. So we all have intuition. A lot of times people, they're totally afraid, and rightly so. Just follow your intuition. My wife doesn't do near what I do, and never would. I don't do what she does. She has to have her martini every meal and her wine, she has her friends and that, make sure they got the wine and everything else. That's her life. Me, no. But I got my weed. I think what you got to do is, there's a yoga saying called "stay on your own towel." See, when you're on your own towel and doing your own thing, that's all you need to worry about. Yeah. Don't be looking over at someone else's towel and say, "Well, they're not doing it right," or "How are they doing that?" You know what I mean? Stay on your own towel.
Yes.
What's good for you, that's all you got to be concerned with.
I love that, man. That's perfectly stated.
That's right. And if you want to be with someone for the rest of your life, do acid together.
Yes, that's exactly what my partner and I have done together quite a few times. And I can attest that it brings you so much closer together. It's amazing. Well, Tommy, this has been amazing, man. I thank you so much for sharing your time and wisdom today with us. I mean, it's just such an epic opportunity to get to interview you. I'm really excited to continue connecting with you, to see the amazing stuff you're putting out. And man, I'm just so thankful, man. So thank you again for coming on the show, man. If there's ever anything I can do to support you, please let me know. If I'm ever in your area, I'll make sure to drop some cannabis off for you to test out for me. And thank you again, man. It's been amazing.
Okay. My pleasure, my friend.
Thanks, brother. Bye-bye.